Man, so obviously we know we had, some major news that happened NFL wise, so I felt like it was appropriate that we address that first. So figure we started with our around the league, but more so we're focusing on today, and that's the reaction to everything that happened on Monday night with Damar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills secondary player that obviously got hurt and is still in critical condition right now. Out in Cincinnati at the hospital, man. Just a lot going on with that, but I did actually want to ask you first off, man, just your thoughts, man. How did you feel about everything, man? How you processing all this stuff, Because I feel like, a lot of us be talking, and I've put out something already. But it was like,
I mean, it's devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Just in general, just because it's a human being that is playing a sport that we love and we're witnessing it live. Man, this dude's on the field. And you're just, I mean, there's so many thoughts because, I mean, it takes you back a little bit to the Shazier thing. And no one even wants that because Shazier has been limited since that event. Like, he's been able to power through. And I think, what were the initial
initially,
not the initial results,
right? But the initial
prognosis.
report or prognosis was that he was never going to walk again.
Yeah, and that's not good.
Normal.
Like even though he's still living, like that's still that's not what we
he's
want
forever
at all.
altered.
We want full recoveries. So you're going through that, but then all of a sudden CPR, you're like, well, what the hell?
Yeah, it was crazy.
There was no way they were ever gonna play that. I knew it wasn't gonna happen, but I guess they took their time figuring that out. I guess there was some backlash. I didn't really appreciate that just because.
Yeah.
This is like live. This is all happening.
It's happening.
They were never going to play that game. There's just no way. There's no way the player, any of the coaches, either team would have just forfeited, I bet, before they even played that game. But just, going back to my reaction to just actually what happened, I don't think there's really much you could say. It's just, you're speechless. And then add to the fact, this dude has this connection to Pittsburgh, the roots, and then you're hearing all these stories from the people that know him, these videos that are coming out, and how ingrained he is to the community, how much he's just, I mean, you have the saying from LeBron, more than an athlete. Like, this guy just seems like a really good dude. I've never met him. I don't know if you've met him.
Yeah, I don't know him personally. I don't.
It's just terrible. So that's pretty much been the only thing on my mind in terms of, like, football or even content, because, I mean, that's what we do. That's kind of our business. Man. So I haven't done anything. I haven't really wanted to do anything these last couple of days, just because that's what I'm thinking about. So I don't. We could talk Steelers. We could do that. And now that we're a little bit more removed, we're here with the podcast, and I think it's probably good for. I don't know about you, probably even me too, and the people that are watching. It's something though. It's like a distraction. It's at least a way for us to move forward a little bit through this, right? Yeah. It just sucks. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Nah, man, that's what we always locked in, Deke. You know that, man. It's funny. I'm going through all I'm going through and stuff like that. Obviously, being up in Buffalo, with some of the personnel, when everything was going down, and just some of the behind the scenes stuff, how crazy that was. And you're going through this process yesterday of, all right, we checking on this player, check on that guy, check on this, and of course I get a text message. I'm like, bro, my dog hit me up. Let me see it. I'm thinking it's something work related. Yo, it's truly Deke hitting me up, just checking on the homie, man. And I really did appreciate that. I just wanted to give you a shout out, bro, because it did mean a lot. Because that is something that, is different when you're talking about these type of scenarios. You broke it down great from the fans' perspective, man, just from a person that has just watched it.
I was at Chipotle. I was watching this thing on YouTube TV. And I think whenever I was done with Chipotle, I turned YouTube TV off, and I'm on my way home. And I was like, oh, wait, the game's on. And I turn it on. They're like, this is paused, and there's just a circle. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Yeah,
man. So for me, man, he said multiple feelings, emotions, thoughts. When you talk about the PTSD part of it, you brought up Shazier. Of course, that's the first thing you think of, bro. First quarter, Cincinnati Bengals, Monday Night Football, identical. It was crazy to me. Then from there, obviously, you talk about the severity of it. And for me, that part was, we know as athletes how our mind is conditioned. That's one of the things that a lot of us struggle with when we leave the game. We're so conditioned to not have emotions. we're so conditioned to not show weakness, to not show sympathy, to not show empathy, to just be that kill or be killed mentality when you're out there. And that's a part of what makes us us, but that's also a part of, the thing that hurts us a little bit when you're talking about just like the life element of this stuff, right? But watching those dudes in their faces and seeing how they're going through that process of trying to kick the tires to start, you know what I mean?
There was just no way.
And
then I didn't think there was any way they were going to play.
But then seeing the emotion come back on, it was one of those things where, being in that position, my heart was hurting for them because I know that feeling where you're like, man, I don't want to play, but I got to get my mind ready to go because once they start this game again, nobody else is going to care if we lose. We got to make sure we do what we're supposed to do. So for them, it was dope that they did actually get that opportunity to not play, to shut it down, to actually put a person's life over the game. Because, I mean, we talk about it, but we essentially normalize injuries in the NFL. If you go to Walmart and a person were to get knocked unconscious, it would be a scene. Everybody would stop what they're doing. It would be chaotic. Football person gets knocked out. We're like, all right, next play. Like, that's the reality of it. I mean, we've seen guys get paralyzed. We bring up Ryan Shazier, but a lot of people forget in Buffalo, it was a guy that got paralyzed neck down, Kevin Everett. That is what started it out, even with that element of it, man. And, it's just one of those things where we kind of forget the dangers of the game or how serious it can get. But Monday was one of those little reminders of like, dang, this is real. And when guys go out there and put their lives on the line, this is why when you hear me talk at times, and I might sound a little perturbed, I might sound a little pissed off when it's slick remarks about a guy's toughness, about if a guy has heart or not. And when it comes from people that have never actually put that helmet on and been out there and risked their lives for it, it does irritate us. And that is why we talk the way that we do at times. And everybody, expresses it differently. But this is that reminder when it's contracts, when it's social media. This is the reminder. This is why we do it. But this is also what we understand what we're risking, because there is no guarantee that you're going to make it out of this thing. There's no guarantee that you're going to see another day or play another day. And that's the cold, harsh reality that we like to overlook, but it's very present in the back of our minds. And, when I just think of all of that, man, and I think of the transition or what that's supposed to be like, not just for Buffalo, but even Cincinnati, when they got to go back out there and play.
Yeah.
You think about the ties, and that's the other part, man. When you talk about the NFL, it's such a tight-knit community because it's such a small amount of us. We talk about it being the 1%, right? The elite of the elite. Everybody knows everybody. And if you don't know them directly, I know your agent.
Think with the Steelers. We got Tom, we got Pickett, Pitt players, whatever, just the roots he has in Pittsburgh. But there's probably multiple players across every team that has some type of connection to him personally.
Tyler Matakavich. First person I hit up, I'm like, bro, like, you were just here with us in this Pittsburgh. We got that bond that's going to, like, the people that were there for the Shazier thing, man, we will forever be changed from that. We talked about it. And that's real. But then to see him, it's like, yo, I know that. It's like, yo, that's crazy. But like you talk about, everybody has some type of connection, whether it's on the field, whether it's coaching staff-wise, whether it's the people that were watching the game and have seen a player fall out before. I got family members who've actually witnessed that as well, man. Stirs up that trauma. This whole situation of him being in the hospital critical condition multiple days, that triggers up a lot of those feelings as well from people that may have lost people or have had people tragically injured, and you're sitting there waiting and praying that they come out of surgery or praying that they make it out, and it doesn't always work out like that, so to speak. So yeah, man, I figure like a lot of people are going through that, but that's why also, what's kind of cool to hear you say a similar thing, that you weren't even thinking about football like that, because it's like, yo, how do you even transition? And that's been my big struggle since this thing happened. It's frustrating that
Yeah, I don't know how these dudes on ESPN were doing it. Honestly.
Yeah, bro.
I just kept saying, like, ESPN, just throw on a 30 for 30 or something.
Yeah,
right now.
it's like, it's such a hard thing to want to talk about an actual, like, game and breaking it down when it just seems so minute and minuscule, when we don't even know if this guy is going to come out of this thing. Now, granted, we get the positive results and stuff and the positive news, but right now it's still very much up in the air, which is the crazy part about it. And that's the part for me where I always run through that battle internally, because part of me as a player is what? Man, as a player, we compartmentalize the heck out of everything. It doesn't matter if your mother just got, something tragic happened to her. I remember literally getting a call that one of my good friends passed away tragically. And it's like, bro, you're on a flight. You're playing the next day. Because that's just how you got to do it. And you just, all right, I'm sad now, but I'm playing this game. I'll be sad on the way back home, but I'm playing this game. And that's kind of like in my mind, I'm like, well, dang, the player says that's how you're supposed to go. But then the human side is like, well, nah, man, because clearly we can see that this is a little bit more significant than what we've ever seen. Because I don't know about you, Deke, I've never seen an NFL game actually stop once it started.
Yeah,
I've never seen that before, bro. You have never seen that.
The closest scenario would be the Shazier scenario, but yeah, we ended up playing.
Yeah, so for me, that's been like the part where I'm kind of like, all right, well, should I not think like how I normally think? Because clearly the NFL is at least taking their time with it also. And that at least is comforting, so to speak, because I know how cutthroat it is. And because it's $1 billion business, we understand like this is the machine. And when the machine gets rolling, it's rolling. But at least in that sense, they're at least acknowledging it also. But I just wonder, man, what is the next step? What's the quality of it? Because you just think about this Steelers team right now and their ties. Kenny Pickett, his ties. Coach Tomlin, his ties. What does that look like mentally? What does that look like physically for them on Sunday?
Everyone's probably different.
You know
that was one of the questions I was going to ask you, because you know how I was just saying for us, hopping on this podcast, it could be used as like a good distraction for all of us.
Yeah.
I would say maybe the games on Sunday could be used as a distraction for some players.
Let's talk
but
about
then
it.
On the other hand, I could see people just not wanting to play football for the rest of the season.
I could tell you multiple ways, bro, because obviously we had the Shazier situation, and this was the whole process, right? When he first goes down, man, when he's on the ground right now, bro, none of us want to play a game ever again. We're all in that thing going through it. We're not going to show it. Some of us were, but we're all processing through it. The difference was for us, we never got that option to, hey, do you guys want to continue? It was just, hey, man, it's time to go. So you instantly shift to, I'm going to get one of theirs back because ours is hurt. Not saying that everybody should agree with that thought process. That's how we process through it during that time. Not saying that it's healthy, but that's what we were accustomed to. The dog eat dog world. You got mine, I'm going to get yours back. It don't make mine any better, but at least I feel better because I got you. That isn't, like I said, a good idea. It's not the healthiest, but that's how we did it in that moment. But then afterwards, the tricky part was this. When you would go see him at the ICU, you're breaking down. It hurts, kills you. But you would go to practice. And you have to take your mind off of it. Because once you get in that door, you got to compartmentalize. So it was a give and take every single day. It's like, dude, I'm crying, I'm happy. I'm crying, I'm happy. And then before you know it, the season's over. And now you get a chance to really sit and like let it fester. And that's when it really hits you. And even to this day, we still aren't all the way good from that scenario. I mean, we changed this all forever because of what we had to see. But with this scenario for this Bills team, I think it's very different because they had to sit there and really process it. They had to really allow the reality of it to hit. Whereas for us, we saw it. It was real as heck each and every day. But between the practices, it just was like, yo, we don't have to really acknowledge it all the way if we don't want to. Whereas this, because everything has stopped, essentially, you got to acknowledge it. And that's the real challenging part, because that's where you do have those thoughts of, is this worth it anymore? And for me, I was fortunate to play 9 years to get to that point where I could really, talk about that balance of, is the risk of paralysis, the risk of death, is the risk of permanently being injured worth what they're willing to pay me, worth me getting another highlight, worth me putting on another jersey? And that was kind of the dilemma that you would go through. Weighing all those options, that's what was a big reason why I walked away. It was like, yo, I'm cool with this. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't love it like that anymore. It's not worth the risk to me anymore. I'm past that. But that was at 9 years. Shay got the 4. Damar's in what, 2 right now? So it's not always that you even get to that level to even have that option. And that's the unfortunate part and the heartbreaking part as well, man. But I really just wonder, like, how do they even respond from that? Because this is not, like I said, it's not an easy thing to overcome, man. It's not. And when you go back out there and expect to go back out there and play a violent game, that's the other part. Because, man, we was over there. Initially, you was kind of skittish when you started going back to hitting after the shade thing. We said, like, bruh, I don't know.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's an answer to it at all. It's just man. Like, damn, things just go forward, right? Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. Yeah, in terms of those even the Bengals players, you get to witness that. Hell, even the rest of the NFL, like we all saw it, we all witnessed it on TV.
Yeah. So think about it. Anybody that's putting on a helmet and a shoulder pads playing football at the NFL level, you know how many of us have made a tackle like that, bro? And that's the other part. It's like, bro, at least with the Shea situation, we're like, okay, I see the issue. I know what he did wrong. Granted, he did that earlier and everything was fine, but I get it. With this one, it's like, bro, this is just a routine tackle. Like, golly. But, that's the thing that is, just a part of the game, man. What they call the occupational hazard, man. But, I also would say this. As bad and as tragic as a situation as it is, I'm an optimistic dude. Because otherwise, I get all the way back, and I don't need to do that. But the optimism that I always found was this, man. Like, in these moments, it is cool to see how everybody can come together. When we talk about sports being that great equalizer, when you talk about sports just kind of being above skin color, gender, race, political, religion, all of that, because this is this. When you look at the support that Damar has been getting, when you look at the support that his family, the foundation that he's supporting, like all of this positive stuff, all these different people from all these different walks of life coming together for him, that part at least is dope. And I really hope, man, I pray, that he is able to come out of this and actually witness this love that he is receiving, because that's something that us as players, we know we love each other on that, because it's kind of like, when you go through football training camps and player seasons and you bleed and you hurt and you highs and lows, like you get a certain bond. That's when you talk about me and TG. It's like, bro, we're close because of what we had to go through. Rob G, Will Allen, Shay, Vince, all these different dudes we talk about because of what we had to go through. And when I think of all of these NFL players coming together to support him, whether it's monetarily, whether it's sending different condolences, or not condolences, but sending different words of encouragement to his family, his friends, his teammates and stuff like that. That part is always beautiful, because it's like, man, the humanity is still here. You know what I mean? That inner part where we talk about like our inner core really being good people, that is still on display here, regardless of all the other chaos that we deal with and have been dealing with, in America. To me, like I said, I found comfort in that part, to just see all of us being able to come together to support him in this trying time right now too, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
What was he got up over 5 or 6 million?
Yeah,
in his charity.
Think it was, yeah, man. Which is awesome, man. When you just think about a guy having an impact, man. I think he said the initial goal was like $2,500 or $2,800 he was trying to raise or something like that for toys for was it right over in Pittsburgh, McKees Rocks, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, man. So when you think about that, and then to see once again how a sport, regardless of what had to happen, but the sport giving you that platform, giving him that ability to at least have that reach, and now to get that type of support with him, man, I think that is awesome to see. But like I said, man, I just really pray that he's able to actually appreciate this here and now, not something where we're talking about it for him. You know what I mean? So
good thing is we have been seeing pretty much nothing but positive reports at this point. Yeah. Everything at least trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because that's, like I said, going back to the beginning, that's really all I've been. I'm sure a lot of other people too. I mean, I'm checking Twitter like every hour or so, just typing in the search bar Damar Hamlin, trying to see what's out there. So at least what has been happening with the situation is trending in a good way.
No, without a doubt.
We still got, like you said though, who knows how much more time? Like we don't know. It's
because
like,
because right
we're
now
just left up to whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the timeline is.
Yeah. Who knows? In terms of when they're able to, change his status from critical, when they're able to have him being awake on his own and stuff like that, because he's still sedated from the reports that just flashed on the TV and stuff like that. So, yeah, man. Yeah. But like I said, man, just keep in your thoughts and your prayers, man. And just keep supporting the positive energy towards him, man. Like I said, it's unfortunate. It's terrible. And like I said, just a cold, hard reminder of just how dangerous the game is. I mean, we love it. We, obviously we talk about it, make a living off of it, right? This is what we do. But yeah, it can be extremely dangerous at times. And, like I said, it's just one of those unfortunate incidents, man, that we are, having to just acknowledge right now.
Yeah.